The city zoo was always lively during the day. Children pointed at monkeys swinging from ropes. Families laughed as they tossed peanuts toward elephants. The lions dozed lazily in the sun while parrots screeched from their cages. But when the gates closed, the zoo became something else. Silent, dark, watchful. Mara, a young night guard, knew this well. It was her first week on the job, and though she pretended to be calm, the endless silence unsettled her. Her partner, Javed, often joked that the zoo at night had eyes in the shadows. She laughed when he said it, but the words stuck in her mind. The shift began at 10 p.m. They walked together with flashlights, checking gates and locks. The air smelled damp, and the faint rustle of animals echoed through the dark paths. Around midnight, Javed left to check the staff building while Mara walked alone toward the reptile house. The glass windows reflected her flashlight, and for a moment she thought she saw something move inside, something bigger than the usual snakes and lizards. She pressed closer, but found nothing unusual, just shadows and coils. Still, her skin prickled. By 1 a.m., the wind had picked up. The zoo lights flickered, and the night deepened. Mara walked past the lion enclosure. She expected to see the lions sleeping, but the space was empty. Her breath caught. She shined her light through the bars. The food bowl was overturned, and deep scratch marks scarred the ground. But no lions. No sound. She tried to radio Javed. Static answered her. Suddenly a low growl rumbled behind her. She spun around, flashlight shaking. Nothing. Only the swaying of trees in the wind, yet the growl still echoed, close, heavy, almost inside her ear. She backed away, heart pounding. As she hurried down the path, she noticed other cages. The monkey enclosure was silent, too silent. The ropes swung gently, but no monkeys clung to them. The parrot house was empty, feathers scattered across the floor. It was as if the animals had vanished. She gripped her radio again, whispering for Javed. A crackle, then faint breathing. Not his voice, just breathing. Her hands trembled. "Who's there?" The line went dead. She forced herself to head for the staff building. The zoo felt larger now, paths twisting, lights dimming, as though the layout itself had changed. She could hear the shuffle of movement behind the cages, but whenever she turned, her flashlight caught nothing but bars and darkness. At the crocodile pit, she froze. The stench of rot rose from the water. Ripples spread across the surface, though nothing swam there. Then she saw it, something pale floating. A shoe. She leaned closer. A hand surfaced, bloated and pale, drifting toward the edge. Mara stumbled back, choking on her scream. The water rippled violently, and the hand was pulled under by something unseen. Her mind raced. Javed. Panic surged, but she forced herself onward. The zoo gates were locked until morning, and she had no keys. She needed Javed, or at least the security office. As she passed the elephant yard, she noticed the chains. Thick iron chains that had once restrained the largest bull elephant lay snapped on the ground, not cut, torn, as though by some massive force. The ground trembled. A loud, deep trumpet echoed across the zoo, but it didn't sound like any elephant Mara had ever heard. It was twisted, shrill, almost human in its agony. She ran. Finally, the staff building came into view. Its small yellow lights glowed like a beacon. She burst inside, calling Javed's name. The office was empty. Coffee still steamed on the desk. His flashlight lay on the floor, its lens cracked. The walls were smeared with something dark. She bent closer. Blood. Her stomach lurched. Then she heard it again. Breathing. Not from her own chest, but from the dark corner of the room. Slow. Ragged. "Javed?" she whispered. Something stepped into the light. It wasn't Javed. It wore his uniform, but its body was wrong. The limbs bent too far, skin stretched thin, eyes black and shining. Its mouth opened, and the sound of lions growling poured out. Not words, just animal sounds. Mara screamed and fled the building. The zoo had changed. The enclosures no longer looked like cages but jagged ruins, twisted metal, torn wire. The paths led her in circles. Every direction seemed wrong. The air vibrated with noises, roars, screeches, hisses, all blending together as if the animals had not vanished at all, but had become something else. She ducked behind a bench, breathing hard. In the distance, something moved across the path. Tall, hunched, dragging itself forward on hands too long. Its face flickered in her flashlight beam. It wasn't an animal. It wasn't human. It was both. She clamped a hand over her mouth to keep from crying out. Hours seemed to pass, though her watch still read 2:30 a.m. She tried every exit, but the gates only led her back to the center of the zoo. The animals' sounds grew louder, closer, as if circling her. Near the aviary, she tripped over something soft. She aimed her light and saw feathers, hundreds of them, matted with blood. A massive bird's wing twitched weakly, torn from its body. Mara gagged and crawled backward. Then she saw eyes in the dark, dozens of them, blinking, watching. The sound of flapping wings filled the air, not soft, not like birds, heavy, leathery. The shapes rose from the shadows, creatures with twisted bird skulls and human arms, screeching with parrot voices. She ran again, tears blurring her sight. The zoo was alive now, its paths breathing, its cages bending. Every corner revealed another horror, an ape with a human face, a lion with too many legs, a snake slithering upright like a man. The worst part was their eyes. They weren't animal eyes anymore. They were human, full of recognition, full of hate. She stumbled into the central plaza where the zoo fountain stood, except it no longer flowed with water. Thick, dark liquid bubbled and splashed over the stone. The creatures gathered around her, circling, their noises rising into a deafening chorus. Mara screamed until her voice broke. At sunrise, the zoo gates opened for visitors. The grounds looked perfectly normal. Lions stretched in their cages, parrots chirped brightly, elephants swayed in rhythm. But when the zookeepers did their morning check, they found something unusual near the fountain. A guard's hat, splattered with blood, and beside it, a broken flashlight. There was no sign of Mara. Yet some visitors swore they saw a new exhibit that day. In the reptile house, behind the glass, crouched a strange figure in a guard's uniform. Its eyes were wide and black. Its grin was stretched too far. And if you leaned too close, you could hear it whisper over and over, "Don't stay after dark."